Though you may not drive a slantback Cadillac, 84's above.
I done came down, hold up.
The players may have changed, but the slab game remained the same.
I done came down,
Swing on, player.
roll up. Your
Already.
girlfriend want a nigga like me, cause I ain't tryna control her. She called me when she.
All right, this is your man 10 All Candy. We outside the dungeon. As you can already see, we got the north side blue outside, so you can see what it looks like. This is our 1973 Caprice convertible for our man Jason out of Mansour. He's the cousin of our man that we did the Merlot Red for on the 75 Caprice. Two cousins with two convertibles. We did this one here over a different base. We didn't use quite the So Bright Silver, so it's giving it a different flop on the tone. Also want to say a little bit later in the video, I'm going to show you how the Wet Sand 600. I always tell you guys, Wet Sand 600, you won't have to worry about going through. It makes it quick, easier. That'll get rid of the orange peel so we can re-clear it. You know, as I say, after you finish putting the candy on, you're going to use the Wet Plus. Like I said, you're going to use that one first. You're going to use the entire 1.5 gallon sprayable material on the car. So this one here has got that whole 1.5 gallon of clear on top of the candy. We've got 3 wet coats of clear over this candy. And we're going to go on and wet sand it 600, let it breathe out, and then the following day, what we're going to do is re-clear it with the wet. All right, this is man 10 All Candy. You already know we're using the wet, the wet plus. And for those who I discussed painting candy, and for those who paint candy, I always suggest, like I said, if you buy that 2-gallon candy bundle or any one of our candy bundle packages, you're gonna get 1 gallon of the wet plus, and you're gonna get 1 gallon of the wet. Now remember, the wet and wet plus are the only 2 that we actually double up the UV protection. The way you want to spray our clear is wet. So after you lay on the candy and you're ready to top it off, you want to spray wet, and this is what gets you. This is 3 gallons of the, well, not 3 gallons, but the whole gallon setup, which is 1.5 gallons of sprayable material. So when this car is said and done, it would actually have 3 gallons of clear. I decided I'm gonna show you how to wet sand 600, and this is what I suggest doing after you clear. The next day after you clear, you want to wet sand the entire vehicle with 600. Take it outside, let the sun on it, or just let it breathe for a day, like I tell everybody. And then the next following day, come back with that 2nd gallon that we sent you, so we will be ready to re-clear it. As you can see, it's still wet. It still looks wet anyway. It didn't shrink up, it didn't draw up or anything like that. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna smooth it on out. I just wanna show you how easy it is to 600. You're not gonna cut through the material. Like say, if you spray 3 wet coats, wet is way more material than a tack coat, medium wet, and a flow coat, like most manufacturers have you do and most painters actually do. So wet is a lot more material than a tack coat, medium wet, and a flow. So we got plenty of product over this candy. We're not going through with 600. I like 600 simply because it's fast and it's easy to do. It doesn't really work you. Then, like say, it's an aggressive scratch to where you know you got a great mechanical bond when you come back in with that tack coat of that second clear. It really has something to grab onto. And let me go through the process right now. What we're gonna use, 600 sandpaper. I like the long Dura block, the 1 inch by 1 inch. We're gonna start off with the soft, like say the flexible and or the soft block. We're gonna start off with it. And then we have the blue black, which is kind of stiff, you know, for small areas. I like that also. What we're gonna do, because of the nibs, because of the slight trash that you see on top, what we're gonna do is, just like I said before, in removing a run, we're gonna use a soft one because we don't wanna snatch at it and we don't wanna pop it off. So what we're gonna do is start off with the 600 using the soft, and we're gonna cut into it. Now we're gonna go on and work this panel down. I just wanna do a panel so you can kind of see what's going on. Just really wanna show you how quick and easy it is to wet sand with 600, and how fast and how much time you'll save as a painter if you wet sand with 600 for your re-clear, or if you're ready to re-clear a car using 600 grit paper rather than a higher grit. So I've already wrapped the paper. As you see, I'm sanding on it. Doesn't take long. We'll just, let me see, how do I want to do this? Since I'm kind of holding it and give you the, all right. What I normally like telling a customer, you want to sand, when you sand, you want to sand at a 45-degree angle. Have your block parallel to the line, and you want to go kind of like down in a 45-degree kind of X formation. If you come back, you can kind of come back. You know, you're making an X at a 45-degree. That's your sanding pattern, is the way you want to go. Now, in this particular case, we'll start over here and we'll just count out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You move up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then what I'll do is I'll squeegee back. If you've already got a squeegee, as you're noticing, we're cutting it down pretty good. We still got a little bit of orange peel there. We're gonna continue on, but because I'm holding the camera, I'm kind of not putting the pressure that I really need to, but bottom line, you don't have to put too much pressure because the 600 is gonna do the work for you. But if you noticed, you see, it didn't take long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strokes, and then I kind of moved up, overlapped, and I moved up a little bit. It doesn't take long, and I've already got this section. All right, we're back on it. Let me put a little bit more emphasis on it like I normally would. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you notice, I stay moving around the panel. I'm not staying in one place with 600. It's not like I'm trying to go through that area. I'm just trying to really work it. And I'm trying to knock it out as quick as I can, because it doesn't take long. If you can hear it, you hear how aggressive I'm sanding on it, and it's cutting it. And you never want to stay on a line or an edge. You kind of want to work on it. Like I always tell my guys, stay to the edge, but don't roll on your lines. Never roll on your lines, because that's where you might run through it. You never want to stay on a line or work the line. You always want to stay on the side of it. All right. Let's rinse it off now and see what we're working with. Now we're going to do the same over here. You notice that run, we've got a little run right there. So at this time here, we're going to do the same thing. Like I talked on in that one video, we're going to actually use the same soft block, go over that run and kind of knock it down some and level it on out a little bit so we don't have that risk of decapitating the run head, I guess, or the ball of the run, I should say. We don't want to decapitate it by using a hard block right off the top. So we're using that same 600 and we're going to rinse that off. So you can kind of see what's going on. That's our little run. I went on and shaved it down with the soft block just so we wouldn't decapitate the head off with a hard block right off top. And then we're going to use the marker trick as I showed you guys on the one of the last few videos. While color sanding. Now look at the difference. Using 600, how quick do you see we did that? We came from this to that. You can see the peel and then now it's gone. We're smooth going out. You see a couple spots where I've got to come back and spend a little bit more time on, but for the most part, as you can see, that 600, that wet sand 600, it makes it a whole lot easier. We're pretty much almost completely done with this fender. You know, we almost halfway done, and it didn't take much time. Didn't really take no time at all. 3 guys, you know, in your shop, or you know, 1 guy, 3 guys, 1 guy in your shop, you guys can knock this car out in no time and be able to just let it sit up and breathe. You gotta kind of remember the old adage when your mom says, don't go outside after just taking a shower because you might catch a cold because your pores are open. And what a lot of painters fail to do is after they paint a car, they take it directly outside and they think they're baking the car. You're actually, you're baking the car, but what's the main problem is that you're not opening the pores up. So you're baking the car, the paint's getting hot, but the solvents that are getting hot in there and starting to stir around because of the metal getting hot, they're wanting to evaporate on out. But because the clear is still locked up, because the clear hasn't been sanded first, they've got no way to escape. So if you've ever noticed that you had a car sitting out for a couple days and then you brought it in to wet sand and buff, and then as soon as you sanded on it, you could still smell the solvent coming out of the panel as soon as you sanded on it. That's the clear that was never able to escape, or that was the solvent that was never able to escape. Even though it was outside, it couldn't escape because it was still trapped because you never sanded the car first. So I always tell my customers it's always imperative to wet sand the car first before you take it outside after you paint it. So wet sand 600 opens up the pores. Now the panels can breathe. Now the solvents can actually breathe out. But on a good sunny day, that metal will actually warm up and it'll help evaporate it out a lot faster. Then you can bring the car back in, get it ready, tape up your jams, tape up what you're not going to re-clear, and you'll be ready for the next day to put that second gallon of clear on for your re-clear. Now I'm going to show you a couple other little tricks on this. Remember how we were speaking on the peel and the marker? What I like using this. I like using the marker trick here in a couple different spots. When you see a half circle, that's a dust or a dirt nib. You know what I like doing is just going over the top of that, marking them off. So like all the little dirt nibs and all the little spots where I know I have trash that built on up, you notice that everything else is sanded around, but I still have those kind of like little craters, or not craters, but little half circles. That lets me know that's a little trash nib that hasn't been completely taken on out. So what I like doing is just marking them off with the marker so I don't miss them. And also too, I'm using my marker, as you already know, kind of like my guide coat. I'm the guide coat king around here. So I'm using it kind of like a guide coat. So now once I've got to mark it off, as you already know, the Sharpie marker is waterproof, so it's going to stay on. It's not going to go anywhere. What I'll do then is I'll probably grab the harder one of these blue, or I could use this if I wanted to. I could use this, either one of them. You see your spots there? What we'll do now is sand over those spots with the harder block. Till those marker spots are completely gone. And since I know I'm not using the wood block, even though I see it completely gone, I'm gonna sand a little bit longer, just for the sake that I know I have a little bit of give. It's not true wood. I'm not using the wood block on this right now, so I know I still have a little bit of give where it may not be all the way gone. So what I do is I sand a little bit longer. We'll hit these spots. Just wipe that off. As you see, those spots are gone. As you see, those half markings, all those little half craters, the little trash nibs, they're completely gone. We've smoothed that area all the way on out. And that's what you want. Now, as you can see, we force dried it. We've sanded it down with that 600. Those spots are gone. We still have those two that we didn't do. Same thing, we'll just show you on the run, a real quickie. We got that little run. You do the same thing on your run. Once you knock down that head enough to where you won't decapitate it by using a hard block, we put the marker on, and we'll go with this type of block. We'll switch blocks now, and we'll do the same, using the same 600. So like I said, we're getting ready to re-clear the car. So we're just trying to get it all slick and smooth, so when we use this second gallon of clear, it'll lay down like glass. We won't have any orange peel. We won't have any issues. Now remember, you're gonna have orange peel after shooting a candy, simply because of the amount of products that you put on the vehicle. If you have primer or sealer off the car first, then you've got at least a couple coats of paint, 2-3 coats of your base paint, and then after that you're going to have 3 to 4 coats of candy. Then you're going to have another 3 coats of the Wet Plus Clear. In that case, you're gonna have some millage, you're gonna have some orange peel. So we're still shiny, we still look wet, but we know that there's some peel there. So that's what we're doing now, is getting rid of the peel, getting rid of the texture, smoothing it all out. And if you got any imperfections, you're getting them out now. Same thing with any little runs, we're getting them on out. Let's sand on this. Let's rinse it off. Now, because I know I'm not using that wood block, I still know it's there a little bit. We still have a little bit of that indentation. Hadn't gotten rid of all of it. So what we'll do now is put the marker back in there again. Give it a couple seconds to dry down just a little bit. We're gonna resand again. Remember, I'm still doing it at my 45-degree angle, X pattern. That's how I'm cutting it down. See, now we've got rid of that run out of that area, and we've smoothed it on out to where now we'll be able to re-clear the vehicle, and we won't be compounding on that run. Like I said, we'll actually be smooth and even when it's time to go. But that's how you sand out the run. That's how you can, ensure that you don't go through by using the Sharpie marker trick that I showed on the previous video. And this is also how quick and easy it is to wet sand the car 600 after spraying the candy. This won't take any time. Just need to do it, that's it. But I like doing it by hand. I like using these particular blocks to do it.
Though you may not drive a slamback Cadillac, 84's
What's up, player? What it do? Players may have changed, but the slab game remains the same. Swing on, player.
Already.